let's make a bucket hat. If you're living in a place where it's summer all year long, then this accessory should be a staple in your wardrobe. And since I cannot be bothered to draft a pattern from scratch, I'm using once again a free pattern from Mood Sewciety, as this project video is intended to be short and quick. And yet, here I am, once again, going overboard as usual. The pattern consists of only 3 main pieces: a brim, a side panel, and a crown. All pieces are to be cut once, each from a main fabric, a lining, and an interfacing, if you're using a lightweight or medium weight material. This is also a great scrap busting project, as you won't really need a huge amount of yardage to make this bucket hat. Bucket hats have taken on many forms over the years, from sleek minimalist designs to bold fashion statements. And they're always in fashion. They're traditionally made from sturdy materials like denim, canvas, or even heavyweight wool such as tweed. Some versions also feature metal eyelets on the crown for ventilation, some have shorter brims, round-shaped crowns, and some include very tall side panels. This particular pattern features a wider brim, which to me gives it more of a sun hat feel. So I decided to chop off about 1/2 of an inch along the edge of the brim to give it a more contemporary look and feel. For the main fabric, I decided to do a little bit of upcycling. I'm using one of my old shirts that I have no use for, and this will give me enough fabric for the main and lining pieces. So I went ahead and started cutting 4 pieces of the side panel out of the sleeves. Then 2 pieces for the crown, one for the outer fabric and one as lining. And lastly, 2 pieces for the inner brim as lining. For the outer brim, I decided to use this leftover fabric from a previous project. Because, I mean, look at this fabric. Put a cactus on it and suddenly I need it. So we're cutting up 2 pieces from this as the main fabric for the brim. To stiffen the hat and give it more body, I went ahead and cut the interfacing pieces. These are going to be fused to the main fabric pieces only. Once I had everything cut out, I should have the main fabric pieces, the lining pieces, as well as the interfacing pieces. We're not sewing it because we have to fuse the interfacing to the main fabric pieces. And also, I realized that the brim is still not stiff enough, even after fusing it with the interfacing. So I decided to interface the brim lining pieces as well. Okay, so I had a thought. What about embroidering on the hat? I decided to embroider only on the side panels to match the motif or the prints on the outer brim. And this is the best time to get it done, as it will be very impossible to embroider on my machine once the hat is sewn together. So I went ahead and prepared the side panels for embroidering. And of course, we have to use another cactus design. The embroidering process took way longer than I expected, so I have to entertain myself while waiting for both side panels to finish embroidering. And this is also a good way to slow down and silently watch my machine embroider. It's very fascinating that machines like this can make something colorful and creative, and most importantly, add a design element to something plain and blank such as this fabric. After an hour of embroidering, I can then start constructing the hat. I began assembling the side panel as well as the brim fabric pieces first. Both side panels, the main and the lining, will be joined by placing them right sides together and pinning just the short ends. The brim, main fabric, and lining pieces are treated the same way as the side panels, pinning the side seams with right sides together. All pieces are sewn using 1/2 of an inch seam allowance. Once done, the seam allowances are pressed open and trimmed to about 1/8 of an inch to reduce bulk. This step is necessary as the hat will have overlapping thick seams, especially on the side panel. And we want to reduce as much of that thickness to give the seams a flatter look. Then, the top and the bottom of the side panel on both the main and lining pieces are sewn with a line of stay stitching. This stitching is done within the seam allowance. Stay stitching, or sometimes used as guide stitching, is a temporary stitching used to either secure a curved edge to avoid stretching, or to stretch out or spread an edge to fit into a wider piece of fabric. This is an important step as this will help in easing in the crown as well as the brim onto the side panels. Before finally sewing the hat together, I went ahead and created notches on all the pieces. These notches will help to keep everything in alignment. To create notches, I'm just simply folding the side panel in half while matching the seams in the center and clipping the edges like so. This is done on the top and the bottom of the side panel. Then clipping the seam allowances along the edge of the side panel at 1/2 inch intervals. This will help in easing the side panel to the crown as well as the brim. The crown piece is folded to make a quarter of a circle, and the corners are also clipped to create 4 notches. This is done on both the main and the lining fabric. The brim is also treated the same way, but only the inner curve is clipped, as this side is what's going to be attached to the side panel. Again, this is done on both the main and the lining pieces. With the right sides together, I'm pinning the crown to the top edge of the side panels, making sure to match all of the notches as I go. There should be 4 notches in total, and lining them up will help distribute the fabric evenly and make sewing this curved seam much easier. And since the side panel seam allowances are clipped, easing a straight piece on a circular piece of fabric is easier. This is done on both the main and lining fabric. These are sewn using 1/2 inch seam allowance, back stitching at the start and at the end of the seam. Since I've already sewn a line of stay stitching, I can simply follow that line so none of the stitches will be visible from the outside of the hat. Both of the main and lining pieces are sewn the same way. Then I went ahead and trimmed away the excess seam allowance using pinking shears. This not only helps reduce bulk, but it also creates a smoother seam once turned right side out. The zigzag blades of the pinking shears naturally create small triangular notches, allowing the curved seam to spread and relax instead of bunching up. Both the main and the lining fabric seam allowances are treated the same way. I'm just trimming very close to the stitch line while being careful not to cut through the stitching. Then the brim is pinned to the bottom of the side panel with right sides together, matching the notches. Once again, this is done on both the main and the lining pieces. As you've probably noticed by now, I'm essentially sewing 2 hats at the same time, one for the outer layer and one for the lining. Both of these pieces will be sewn using 1/2 inch seam allowance. And of course, please say hello to this very distinguished gentleman right here. He didn't join the production meeting, but he's graciously agreed to make a special appearance today. Although, judging by that look on his face, I'm fairly certain he's critiquing my sewing technique and questioning every life choice that led to this moment. Once the brims have been sewn to both the outer fabric and the lining, the seam allowances are then trimmed once again with a pinking shears. It's time to join the lining and the main fabric of the hat. With right sides together, the pieces are pinned matching the side seams. This will be sewn with half an inch seam allowance but leaving about 4 to 5 inches unsewn. This will be used for turning the hat right side out. Once again, the seam allowances are trimmed close to the stitching. Then the hat is turned right side out through the opening. The next step is to create rows of top stitching around the brim of the hat. But before I get into that, I'm going to give the brim one final press. Also, I'm just simply going to fold the opening towards the inside and press it into place. This not only keeps it neatly tucked away, but also makes the top stitching much easier and cleaner. And just like that, we've created a fancy embroidered bucket hat perfectly suited for the Dubai summer. A bucket hat won't change your life, but making one might remind you of something very important. That beautiful things don't always come from expensive stores. Sometimes they come from scraps of fabric or from your old clothes. Oh, and by the way, I made not just one, not just two, but 3 bucket hats. Yeah, I went overboard with this project. Thank you so much for sewing with me today. Don't forget to like or subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.